Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this abbreviated episode of Generally Irritable this evening. We had a show. We had a show planned tonight, and the guests had to cancel. So I wasn't sure what to do. I was like, should I just cancel the show altogether or just not have something? Maybe I should at least just check in and say hello to everybody. Get you guys caught up on what's been going on the last couple of weeks, where we're at with the campaign and things like that. So we're going to do that. We're going to at least just have a quick update this evening. If you guys have any questions, just throw them in the chat. We'll do like a ask me anything kind of thing. I don't know, if you have questions, just write them in the chat. We're going to make it really simple and easy tonight. Hopefully back to regularly scheduled programming next week. We are shooting to have one of the little mini documentaries we've shot this year air next Sunday. So it likely won't be a live show. It's likely going to be one of those little mini documentaries Benjamin and I have been working on this year. So that's going to be fun. We've got one coming out highlighting Jenna's Promise, the place in Johnson that is a residential place for people in recovery from addiction, and they have wraparound services. It's a very, very cool program. We've also been documenting our deal here with the house in Burlington, which for those of you who know, we've been in court with the city of Burlington for the last 3 years. They are trying to, they have successfully, we officially lost so the Supreme Court and everything. And the city of Burlington is forcing us to remove one of the 3 apartments. So we have to integrate it into one of the other units. So thank you, Burlington, for removing one more affordable housing unit off the market. Anybody who knows any lawyers out there, I tried to do a public records request about how many units and bedrooms the city has taken off the market in the last 10 years, in the last 5 years, excuse me. And they refused to comply with my request. So now I have to take them to court to get it. So anybody who's a lawyer or familiar with fighting in court for public records requests, holler at your girl, because I need your help. So there's that. Also highlighting some of the Supreme Court of Vermont is very corrupt. They believe that they can legislate from the bench. They believe that is their authority. And since we let them get away with it, they keep doing it. 5 people decide much of the rules in this state. Surprisingly enough, that should make everyone very nervous. So a bunch of stories like that we've been working on that are in post-production. They're being edited right now. And so, yeah, if you guys have the ability to contribute, if you specifically want to help with the generally irritable stuff, rather than the campaign stuff. But if you like the journalism that I do, these deeper dive interviews and research where we go find experts to educate me and you, and shooting these little mini documentaries. If you guys like that stuff, I have a Subscribe Star. I have a Patreon. I'll put those links in the description. If you guys want to contribute to that stuff specifically, and because if you guys can help, then I can pay to have it edited instead of having to wait until I have free time or when Benjamin has free time, which is never, ever. So we just need time for editing. Oh, okay. Oh, here's some comments. Mr. Pizzo, thank you. Taking on the fight. That is correct. I will talk to you tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Then we should talk about law enforcement soon. Yeah, that's, there's so much to take on in this election, you guys. I am running against 2 progressives. I know Mr. Madden tries to pretend like he's an independent. Oh, I'm an independent. No, I mean, you can call yourself that, but if you believe that only the government should decide who is allowed to have semi-automatic rifles. Sound a little bit like a statist to me, but I digress. Oh, thank you, Mike. You sent a donation this weekend. Awesome. Can you get a bumper sticker for your golf cart? You are such a dork. You've been in Florida for 5 minutes and you're already driving around a golf cart. I'm going to give you, aren't you like 20 years too young to be driving around a golf cart in Florida right now, Michael? Oh my God. You've been gone for 5 minutes. What is happening? Some items being added to the merch list. Since you did ask about a bumper sticker, I am this weekend, or hopefully this week, added to the merch store will be trucker caps, a red version and a blue version. I've been asked for that specifically, and also asked for stickers. So I think the sticker packet is going to have like a bumper sticker type sticker and then the Reddick white and blue logo. So I believe you'll be able to order that. The merch store is on my website. You can go to ericareddick.com or reddickforcongress.com. That way you only risk misspelling one of my names. So funny, you guys. Oh my God. So reddickforcongress.com. There's in the corner, there's links to all my social media, and then there's a little cart, and that takes you to the merch store. And there might be a button too, but I think we lost the button when we redid the homepage. New website, new homepage. Go check it out, you guys. It's got a link to the video of us, Benjamin and I, talking about running as a libertarian and kind of our check-in after the primary. So we'll shift that video around. There's tons of links to social media. You guys go check it out. There's so much stuff to share. Soon, Lisa says, we support you, ignore the rest. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, Benjamin's watching. Yeah, baby. Can you do you have my subscribe star link too? It's probably in one of the videos. I don't know if you have. Oh, you're so good. Look at you. Oh, he already had it ready. I have such a good husband, y'all. Find yourself a spouse like I have for a spouse, because Benjamin is literally the best. Seriously. Okay. What was I talking about? Okay, so the merch store, let's see. You can donate online. There's a link to Win Red. A lot of people have problems with Win Red. For some reason, there's something weird about their verification mechanism or something. And so if you have any problems, there is the mailing address is at the bottom of the website, in the footer of the website. It's a P.O. box in Burlington. So mail us a check. That'd be great. I like that too. And then we don't lose anything in the fees. Now, if you're like, if I don't donate online right now, I'm going to forget later to get out my checkbook and write a check. Just donate online and we'll lose the few bucks in fees, because it's better that you donate than not. You guys, Becca Ballant spent $2 million in advertising for the primary. Now, people took $2 million. Erica, how are we going to get $2 million? If every Vermonter that voted for Donald Trump in 2020 donated $10 to my campaign, I would have $1.3 million. And then I could bug the crap out of you with television ads and web ads and YouTube ads and Twitter ads and all of the other stuff. Won't that be fun, you guys? Won't you love that? So, yeah, it's very interesting. Running against two progressives, one with a D behind her name and one with an R behind her name. And, you know, I'm now, it's really funny. I'm now seeing people call me a rhino because I also got the Libertarian Party nomination. And I've used that word and I've thrown it around, and now I realize that it doesn't mean anything anymore. So when I hear people describe people as rhinos, I'm like, if you're describing me as a rhino, then that word means nothing anymore. That acronym means nothing anymore. And I believe nothing that you say. So there's that for the record. Side note, I digress a little bit. What else is going on? Okay, so we're getting ready for the debates A bunch are already scheduled in September. Now, here's the deal, guys. There's a bunch of circumstances, a bunch of the debates in the primary I didn't get to participate in because I didn't meet the criteria. And I should have had this ready. I didn't think about this. Basically, I had to have so many individual donors or so many thousands of dollars. So I think it was something like $35,000 in donations or 1,000 individual donors or something like that. So, excuse me. So we need everybody to pitch in if you can. Go to reddickforcongress.com, click the donate link. Even if you can only donate 10 bucks, I told we don't need $1 million from each individual person. But if we could get $10 from everybody, it will make a tremendous difference. I'm getting asked, I probably have 100 requests for yard signs. You guys, they've doubled in price now that we've passed the primary. I'm not even kidding you. 100 yard signs before the primary cost $383. They're now $870. So unless you all are contributing and donating, I can't buy yard signs. And I know people don't want to hear about money. They don't, blah, 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 whatever. Literally $800 for 100 yard signs, $870 for 100 yard signs, plus shipping. So I can't do this without you guys. The reality is money talks when it comes to campaigning. I have to get the word out. I have to spread the message. And if people don't know I exist, if they don't hear about me, then I don't have a chance. And I don't have a chance unless you guys help out. So on the website right now is a link to a page called the Go Bag, the Grassroots Go Bag. On there, you can find all of my campaign materials, palm cards, business cards. You can download them and you can print them yourself at home, or you can have them done at the printer down the street. Go for it. Just print off a bunch of palm cards. They're on 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, double-sided, and cut in half. So very simple. I don't care if you print them in black and white instead of color. Just print a bunch off, cut them in half, and put them on the cars at the grocery store in your town or around your neighborhood or whatever it is. Soon up there, actually, I got to write that down. Email template on website. So we're going to have an email template that you can share. So you just download it from the website. It says, hey, friends, learn about Erica Reddick. And that way you can just download it and send it to all your friends, family, business associates, if that makes sense, depending on what kind of business you're in. Some of my clients, I'm very open with my politics about, and we talk about it. Some have no idea. So it all depends. Don't be thoughtful about who you share it with, obviously, but share it with everybody that you think wants to know that there's a reasonable, sensible person still running for office this year. In case anybody needs to know that there's somebody who can do math, who actually wants to preserve the Constitution and constitutional values, who actually believes that the Declaration of Independence was written for all of us. If anybody wants that person, somebody with practical real world experience dealing with what we're dealing with, let them know I exist. And I am going to be on the ballot as a libertarian. So everybody just understands I've been working with both the Republican and Libertarian parties for the last 3 years. Not only the parties, but just anything liberty-minded, okay? So liberty events, promoting health choice freedom, Vermont stands up, right? Like some of these people I've had on my show, we've done interviews, because I've been trying to give a voice to those of us that are right of center who don't otherwise have a voice here in Vermont. Okay, WCAX doesn't cover us fairly. Vermont Digger doesn't cover us fairly. And so while we've got some really great editorial conservative papers, right? Vermont Daily Chronicle, True North Reports. We have the Ethan Allen Institute, which promotes a lot of really good stuff too. There was nothing video. There was no or there was a lack of videography interviews and things like that. So we have a couple. We've got Pat McDonald, we've got Linda Kirker, but there's a real need for like a video type journalistic option. And that's what I've tried to do for the last 3 years now. And so I've built this coalition of people, this cross section of folks, because even a lot of the health choice freedom folks, the Vermont Stands Up folks, some of those people are very liberal, right? But we have common values, and we want personal liberty, we want individual freedom, right? And we agree on those things. So that's why I have this wide cross section of support from people of all political spectrums. And so when the Libertarian Party was finally able to take itself back, the Libertarian Party had been hijacked by statists as well. So freaking the Libertarian Party got hijacked, then now we got the freaking, oh, good lordy. Anyway, so when the Libertarian Party was able to reorganize and make sure they had ballot access and all of that stuff, we talked, and I said, would you consider a dual endorsement? Can you do that? Is that possible? And so we started to explore it and found out that, in fact, we could do that, and that I could put myself on the ballot as an L and an R. And so we explored that. We decided. And then I offered myself as a candidate for the Libertarian Party for the United States House of Representatives. And at their convention, at their nominating convention, they nominated me. And that was before the primary. So as of August 4th, Erica Reddick was already on the primary ballot. So a week before the Republican primary. That reminds me, I got to call JP Isabel. Change ballot name. You guys, this is what it's like right now. I just have like all these pieces of paper with lists and things. So if you're anybody who is has some administrative skills and can help with like following up on emails and doing research and reaching out to people and connecting for things, holler at your girl, because I seriously need some help. Okay. Let's see. Charlie said, so impressed by your tenacity and willingness to stay in it. Thank you. You're what we're missing in Vermont politics, authenticity. You know what? Thank you, Charlie. Seriously. That is really good feedback, because I think there's a lot of people who think that they have to be this like perfect, polished person that has no blemishes and no warts and has never done anything wrong. And people don't want that anymore. Vermonters, I have found, people don't even like it when I give carefully articulated answers in debates. Apparently that makes me sound too polished. I'm like, I'm too polished? I try to be really authentic, but I also want to be careful not to alienate the whole middle of Vermont, the 300,000 independents that we need to vote for us. I guess I do get a little bit nervous about alienating them. But, people are just sick of, they know when they're being lied to. Okay? People know it. People know when you're inauthentic. They know when you're full of crap. And they're tired of it. People are tired of that stuff in politics. They want practical, real people. Lisa says, you were excellent in the debate. Challenged WCAX to listen to your soapbox. Get on it. Someone with a cricket can make your yard signs. Thank you. What's a cricket? Someone with a cricket can make your yard signs. Tell me what that is. Lisa, if you're still on, holler at me. Tell me what that is. Benjamin says, everyone says they want real, not rich people in politics. Well, this is what that looks like. Yeah, exactly. It's so funny, you guys. I've had some people be like, oh, you didn't get your message out and that's your fault. And I'm like, yeah, you're totally right. However, when you're an actual constitutional conservative and you get all these emails from all these special interest groups asking you, in what ways will you infringe on people's constitutional rights and give us taxpayer dollars? And I don't answer them. Like, I'm serious when I say I don't want money in politics. I don't want to owe anyone when I go to Washington. I don't want anybody to think that I am beholden to them when I get to Washington, other than actual Vermonters. Like, because they're Vermonters, not because they're Vermonters in a special interest group, but because they're Vermonters. I'm not going there to represent all of the different organizations and associations. I'm going there to represent people, actual flesh and blood human beings. Now, that does not mean I don't understand that there are organizations that represent groups of people and that it's important to hear from them. Obviously, I can understand that, but I'm not promising, like, the National Realtors Association your money. I'm just not going to do that. You guys, even the firefighters endorsed Becca Ballant. And while they acknowledged that her policies, like defunding the police, have made their jobs harder and worse, the labor union only cares about the fact that I don't agree with forcing states to allow unions. Okay, that was the kicker, you guys, because I said the federal government should not impose its will on states, forcing labor unions to be a thing. They endorsed a person who has gone out of her way to make their jobs and their lives harder. In fact, she's not funded their pensions. So think about that. Like, when you think about these endorsements that you hear politicians getting, think about what they had to promise to get that endorsement. So Becca Ballant, again, doesn't fund public sector union pensions. She's been in the Vermont legislature for a long time, and that pension is severely underfunded. So she breaks her promise to the firefighters to make sure that their pension is solvent. Almost said soluble, you guys. It's been that kind of a day. So she won't even make sure your pension is solvent. She's defunded the police, so your job is harder. And then she supports letting mentally ill, drug addicted people stay on the street, but you're still going to endorse her because she says that she will use the power of the federal government to put the fist down on states. So do not take endorsements for granted, you guys. Do not look at a politician's website and go, oh, well, that endorsement, oh, it must mean that she's a really good person. No, that's not what it means. Yes, Grassroots, Convention of States. Benjamin, this is where, Convention of States was where I first started hearing about self-governance. Excuse me. So I remember oh my God, it's 2022 now. So was it 2018? I first heard about Convention of States. I saw Ben Shapiro talking about Convention of States, and I went and looked it up, and I was like, this is my jam. They want to have a Article 5 convention where the states get to propose amendments to the Constitution. And it is, let me see. So their things are term limits, balanced budget, and states' rights. And I'm bastardizing it, you guys, because I'm going fast to try to just keep the conversation going. So the point is, they want to amend the Constitution to add term limits, basically eliminate debt spending, and have a balanced budget. They don't call it a balanced budget, but it's basically fiscal responsibility. And then reducing the size and scope of the federal government. So basically restoring the states' rights, removing the little strings that the federal government has put on the states in order to get federal funding. So Love convention of states. I know a lot of people get freaked out about it. There's a lot of misinformation about what Article 5 convention is about. If so, every state, what is it, like 37 states have to agree to have, oh my God, I am testing my memory, you guys. Let me go look. I'm just going to look it up. It's been a long time since I've preached my convention of states gospel. So it's like 2/3 of the states to be able to open a convention. And the resolution to have an Article 5 convention has to be passed in 2/3 of the states in order to call the convention. And it has to be the exact same wording and the exact same topics in every single one. And I think we're through like 26 states now. And so then the convention is called, people come together to propose amendments based on only those three topics, because that's all you're allowed to do. That's all you're allowed to talk about in an Article 5 convention. And yes, there is precedent for it. There's a lot of great resources on conventionofstates.com. So then we get together, we propose amendments, and then 3/4 of the states have to ratify it. And a lot of my folks are like, oh my God, but Vermont and places like California, they're so crazy. Most state legislatures are controlled by people who are right of center. So I don't think you're going to get 3/4 of the states, what is it, like 36, to agree to do something like get rid of Second Amendment rights or something like that. Do, do, do. Oh, no, times. Eh, 38 states. 38 states you need. I can do math. Let's see. Good to know firefighters are more loyal to their unions than America. Right side, this is what's really interesting. Because I called I called to ask because I was very surprised by the outcome based on the way the interactions were going and how they acknowledged, when I was in there for the interview, I talked about the fact that Becca has made their lives worse and hasn't funded their pension. And when I called to ask the leadership about it, what was said was that a lot of the rank and file preferred me, that most of the people who were voting wanted to choose me, but they have to think about the union first. So it's likely that a lot of the people would have voted for me personally, like they personally going to the ballot box would vote for me, but the union supports Becca, which is so stupid. It's so stupid. Like, I understand that you think everyone should be able to unionize, but is that really more important than safety and security and your pension? I don't know. Ken, I may be able to do some volunteer work for you. How does that work? Great question. Go to contact@ericareddick.com or go to the website. Check this out. Go to the website, Ken. On the connect page is a little contact form. On there, you can you'll put your name, email, maybe like what you want to help. If there's anything in particular you want to help with, if there's days of the week or whatever, holler at your girl. Okay. So go to the website, reddickforcongress.com, or send me a private message in Facebook. Facebook is significantly less reliable. So if you go to the website, go to the connect, it'll come to me and anyone helping to be able to respond and get you hooked up. The big thing is you'll get added. If you send your email, we'll add you to the newsletter and the volunteer email. So you'll start getting notifications. So anybody watching, if you're interested in volunteering or keeping up with the campaign, having something to be able to share to your neighbors, to your friends, go to reddickforcongress.com, go to the connect page and sign up for the newsletter. So sign up for the newsletter and also fill out that contact form. Let us know you want to be in touch and we'll make sure that you're getting the volunteer email. Let us know if you want to volunteer. We'll get you hooked up into that communication. We also have a prayer team. So if you are a prayer warrior and that is something that you are super passionate about, we have that. We have some intercessors that are working on our behalf. So there's tons of stuff to do. And for a lot of my folks, we just had this conversation earlier on the volunteer meeting. So we have our weekly volunteer meetup on Sundays at 3. That's probably going to be changing because nobody wants to get together at 3 o'clock on a Sunday. So there's another one this week on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. So if you guys are interested, again, go to the Connect page, and let us know that you want to get hooked up with that, and I'll send it out. Right side up, you are welcome for clarifying. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's just wild. It really is. I've got some police connections this week I'm going to be reaching out to. So police unions and things like that, hoping to get some endorsements there, since I actually would like there to be police and there not to be a shooting every week in Burlington like there is now. That would be nice. Another shooting this weekend, you guys. Chittenden County, I want you to hear me right now. How did Sarah George get reelected? Are you guys just like not paying attention? Okay, sorry. I had to digress a little bit. We had somebody that was maybe going to run against her that we were going to be able to put on the ballot. And then it turns out she couldn't because of something. So we need a state's attorney for Chittenden County. I don't even care if we have to do a write-in campaign. We need to get rid of Sarah George. That's all I'm saying. She needs to go away. Okay. What else? So let's see. I talked about Convention of States. I talked about the campaign. I love Fountain Dr. Pepper. For the record, don't judge me. I went to McDonald's. I love Fountain Dr. Pepper. I love it. I have a problem. Let's see. What else? Oh, what I was talking about. For my busy folks, my folks who are super busy. Volunteer meeting today. We can, if you get signed up for the newsletter, first of all, you can share it. You can just forward it to everybody. You can share social media posts. You can post stuff on Front Porch Forum. So these are easy things that you can do to spread the word if you don't have a lot of time. If you don't feel like you can help make phone calls or organize a sign wave in your town or something like that, if you don't feel like you can do that, but you can send the newsletter to all of your email contacts, do that. If you don't feel like you can do a bunch of stuff, but you can sit there for maybe like 15 minutes and send all of your friends on Facebook one of our campaign videos, that would be awesome. Josh says, I am the only Dr. Pepper fan in my house. What is the matter with your family, Josh? They're sick people. I'm just kidding. That's so mean. I feel like I can't even be mean and try to be funny about it. That is really funny. I was not into soda. I was really not a soda person until I moved to Texas. And Dr. Pepper is such a big part of the culture there. I don't know. It's worked its way into my diet somehow. And now I'm a soda person. Hello, Miss Olga. Hello. We had a good strategy meeting today. I'm super excited to have the help from the Libertarian Party to be running as a Libertarian for the United States House of Representatives. I think this is really exciting, you guys. It's really interesting because whenever you're talking to anybody, if you're not conservative enough, or if you're too liberal, everyone's got these litmus tests for you as a candidate, right? And they're very random. I mean, the fact that I've been called a rhino is really funny. And then I'm like, well, maybe it's because I'm also very libertarian that people think that I'm not conservative enough. But it's so fascinating to me. Like the more and more I dig into the actual party apparatus of both parties and the platform, the foundation has so much overlap. It is about small government, big individual. It's about freedom, it's about responsibility, it's about duty. It's it's a lot of the social moral questions that we can start to disagree on, right? So, as an example, one thing, a lot of libertarians are for legalized sex work. And I'm not. I can see where they're coming from, and I see what and I've heard the arguments, and I think they're reasonable arguments. They're reasonable arguments. I just also have seen the devastation of human trafficking and people who are prostitutes and porn stars, and how so many of them are drug addicts and mentally ill. These are not people choosing this life. They may think that they're choosing this life, but because of all of their trauma and everything that's happened to them, right? And so that's why I'm like, I don't like the idea of a human being a commodity. But then the same argument is, well, but my labor, I work for people. That means I'm a commodity because of my labor, right? And I go, "Oh, yeah, well, I can see that too," right? So there's a handful of these conversations that differ between Republicans and libertarians that both sides have really good arguments for. And so it's like, ah, but even regardless of what you believe the right answer is, we still agree that the government should have far less control over our decisions, over what we do with our private property, which includes ourselves, right? Like I own myself. I have self-ownership over my body. And the government should not have so much say in what I can and cannot do with my body. Okay? We can agree that I can't kill people and steal stuff and do whatever, but you really shouldn't get to dictate medications and other things like that, interventions that you think I should have to take. That's not your right to say. I'm on my soapbox now, you guys. Okay. I said this was going to be a brief episode, and it's 8 o'clock already, you guys. I'm blaming you. I'm blaming all of you. Let's see. Oh, in the winter, try warming up Dr. Pepper on the stove and drink it like tea. Shut up, fish and chimps. Are you kidding me? Does the carbonation cook out of it when you warm it up? That is fascinating. If it wasn't 4,000 degrees, I would do that right now. Great treat in the winter. Okay. Bruce says, I just looked up the Vermont tax burden for Vermonters in 2022. We are the fourth worst of the states. Wow. Taxes out of control, debt out of control. Save us. Oh my God. I'm telling you what, Bruce. Seriously, what is it? What is it? Oh, can I do this really fast? What is the Vermont debt right now, you guys? I think it's something like $500 billion. I don't want to say something wrong though, because that would make me sound really stupid. Occasionally I've used the wrong word, like billions and trillions in debates and stuff. It's so embarrassing. Okay. Vermont state debt. I think it's something like $500 billion or something. It is out of control. Wait, state of Vermont real-time debt. Okay, so this is the debt clock for Vermont. Let's see. What does it say? Let's see. Okay. In-state revenue debt. So what? So that's so wait, is that 4? That's 4 billion. So 4.5 billion, right? Am I looking at these numbers right? That's tens, hundreds. Wait, you guys, why am I being stupid? I'm just totally late. That is not trillion. That is billion, right? 4.5 billion. That's outrageous. In a state of 500,000 people. Okay, you guys, I want to be clear. Look at this. Okay, I'm surprised. I don't think that population is right. 680,000 people supposedly live in Vermont. I think it's actually less than that. Do you realize that? Wow, 71,000 food stamp recipients? You guys, this is crazy. What? So in a state with just over 500,000 people, our debt is $4.5 billion. That is stupid. That is absolutely outrageous. And think about this, you guys. We have more people who are of retirement age than not. So that means those people are not active in the workforce, contributing to the economy in the same way as people who are of working age. This is not a cut. This is not a critique in any kind of a way. But what you guys need to understand is that if more people are retired or on disability or welfare or whatever than are working, that means there's less people paying. We're all paying for people to live. That is crazy. It is a sign of overspending. It is a sign of overspending. This is absolutely outrageous. Well, it says unemployment numbers are based on those currently collecting, does not include those who are unemployed who receive no benefits. That's very true. And that's a bigger number. So there's all these people who have just left the workforce. A lot of women have particularly left the workforce to go back to being homemakers, which I personally think is a good thing. I would much rather see people getting to stay home and raise their kids and homeschool and do all of that kind of stuff. I think that's better, but only if it's by choice. So that's my 2 cents there. Yeah, and their solution: spend more. Exactly. We don't spend enough. We don't have enough debt. We haven't done enough crazy things. We need to make it that much worse. No, you guys. Terrible idea. Yeah, I just can't. You guys, I'm sorry. Like, you know what's crazy? Do you ever have these moments where you look at numbers and you just go, how is that even possible? How is it possible that in Vermont we have billions of dollars in debt? We just got billions of dollars from the federal government. Well, let's see. We just got a bunch of printed and borrowed money from the federal government. How do we still have debt? You know, they've underfunded. I'm not running for state office, but you guys, they've underfunded transportation. The next 3 years, 40 million, 60 million, 80 million. We got all this money from the federal government, and they couldn't even bother to fund transportation, just roads and bridges. $40 million deficit for transportation next year. How? Do you what is the state of Vermont? Here's the thing. The federal government is just as bad. Let's switch our focus since I'm technically running for federal office. What is it up to now? Federal debt clock. You guys, this always makes me crazy, right? And so this doesn't include unfunded mandates. Do you guys all know what unfunded mandates are? Social Security, Medicare. Okay, so we've made a promise to pay Social Security and Medicare. However, we know those trust funds are underfunded. So this $30 trillion national debt right here does not include the Social Security and Medicare obligations that we have. That's another $100 trillion or so, Social Security and Medicare. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Olga. The federal money got washed to the state house, and who did it go to? It went to a bunch of pet projects, climate catastrophists, and a bunch of other special interest groups. I'm sure it was to help somebody. Not us, not Vermonters, but somebody. Take all of those numbers you see, take about 9 zeros off, and pretend it's a home budget. It's so true. Oh my gosh, if any of us ran our lives this way, uh, we wouldn't have a house anymore. We would be in bankruptcy. We wouldn't even be in bankruptcy. You would be homeless on the street because you wouldn't be able to do anything. You can't take debt out perpetually and think that that's going to work. Where's the interest number? Hold on, you guys. This is the one that's the killer. Oh, that's an interesting little. Oh, wait, let's do this. Ooh, here's the new layout, you guys. I'm playing with my little my software here. Okay. Where's the interest on here? Total US interest paid. Oh, look at this. Here's the this is what they're estimating it is with the unfunded mandates, 92 trillion. Okay. Total interest paid. That's millions, billions, trillions of dollars in interest. That is so stupid. Okay, I'm going crazy. Okay. What else do we need to talk about before we get off of here, you guys? Again, I'm laughing at myself. I said I was going to be short. I said I was going to be like 10 or 15 minutes. And then I just start blah, blah, blah. So, any questions about the campaign? Shoot them in the chat really quick. We're going to get wrapped up here for the night. Let's see. At current debt rates, we will be at $62 trillion of debt by the end of your 5th term in Congress. That is so disgusting. And they're spending money on dumb stuff, you guys. All the pork you see in those bills, it's going to all those special interest groups that sent out their stupid questionnaires for the campaign. You read it and it's all this stupid nonsense. We do not, there's no, like, sorry guys, you don't need as much stuff as you think that you do. No, we should not be funding research projects for the promiscuity of pigeons or the viscosity of ketchup or any of the other nasty things we heard that Tony Fauci approved at the NIH. I think it's money laundering. Oh my God, Olga. It is totally money laundering. That is exactly what it is. It makes me so frustrated. This is why, you guys, I started my campaign really focused on topics that everybody said, you're supposed to have as your platform: family, safety, and economy. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And then as the campaign progressed, I realized really that so many people, right, left, and center, are all asking for the same thing. They want accountability, transparency, and integrity restored to Washington, because it is just out of control. Nobody knows what's going on. All these people have been there for 5,000 years. The bureaucratic state just perpetuates itself. All the 3-letter agencies are these out of control behemoths that can't even provide the service that they're supposed to provide to the country. They need to just be shrunk or gotten rid of, period, because we can't afford it. I know we're not allowed to say that, because if you do, it means you hate people and you're an istophobe and whatever. But if we have to print money to pay for things, we can't afford it. Okay? All of the pain you're feeling with inflation, wage inflation, labor shortages, all this crap is because of the federal government. Okay? The inflation particularly, the government decided that it wanted to pay for a bunch of crap that we couldn't afford. So what they did was they devalued your money, they devalued your savings, they devalued your investments, your Social Security. They devalued it so that they could pull some nonsense today. And Vermonters and Americans don't understand that the pain we're feeling is the result of government policies. So they create the problem, right? The Fed, Joe Biden, Congress, they create the problem, and then they, lucky us, have the solution for the problem. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the government telling me how to live my life, what I can do. I do not believe the government can live our lives or make better decisions than we can. They're clearly dim, most of them. When you guys, how many of you have heard that testimony where there's a congressman, I believe, wait, was he from, no, he's not from Texas. Where is he from? Mississippi, Missouri? Guy from the South literally said that he didn't, was it Haiti? If we put too much stuff on one side of an island, that it might capsize. Okay? Your American congresspeople think that islands can capsize. Let that sink in. So these are the people who are deciding that they know better how to live your life. People who think islands can capsize. So we need to take their power away from them. That's why, again, that is why I support Convention of States. That's why I'm a small government conservative. Conservative means preserving constitutional rights. And even no matter what anybody says, including the guy who came up to the pig roast to me on Saturday and told me I believed I believed in white supremacy because I'm a constitutional conservative. It's not what it means. It was really interesting. It's really funny how people don't know their history, and they don't know what things mean. So anybody, real talk, you guys, if you have ever been curious about what the founding fathers thought about gun rights, or what the Second Amendment means, or why Thomas Jefferson didn't release all of his slaves and all of that other stuff, if you're ever curious, read, listen to podcasts, go look it up, because their writings are extensive. Our founding fathers were prolific writers. There is so much information from the founding era, what they believed, what it meant, what these words were for, why it was important, what the consequences were, how they expected things to be worked out in the courts. Like, they were very, very explicit. And there's no reason to not learn and to not find out about your history. And so just don't take things for granted. Don't take letters behind people's names for granted, obviously, since we've got a progressive running as a Republican. Just one of the greatest gifts I've been given in my journey into conservatism and running for office, in all sincerity, was getting to volunteer with Convention of States. And I started to talk about this earlier about, that was the first time I'd heard the term self-governance and started to learn what it meant. And it was through that process, and it was volunteering for that organization, that really helped develop me into the person that you see before you today. It gave me a passion for our Constitution and our history. It sparked my interest in learning about the founding and what it meant. I got to go to Williamsburg, Virginia, where the Revolution was planned, and walk in the footsteps of our founding fathers. And it is so powerful. And with that, I got a really good understanding of just what it means to be an American, and just how valuable and meaningful it is to have been born at this time, in this place, in the freest, most prosperous nation that has ever been on earth. And so we can all be part of the problem by not participating, not defending, not sticking up for, not being willing to just be called a name. So we can lose our republic. We can lose our freedom and our prosperity by not participating. Or we can pick up our tools in self-governance and fight for the gifts that we've been given, and this treasure that we didn't ask for, that we don't deserve, We're just lucky enough to have been born here. So that's my pitch. That's my pitch for the evening, you guys. Be self-governing. Yes, that is the lesson for today. So let's see. I got a bunch of questions. You guys did ask questions. And the Federal Reserve. That's what I'm talking about. Hashtag and the Fed. I was told I would get murdered for saying that. So just so everybody knows, I am not suicidal. Like not even a little bit. Like not even a scotch. So hashtag and the Fed. If anything happens to me, I got abstained. Okay. Let's see. Josh says that guy's still in office too. Oh no, who are we talking about now? I don't even remember who we were talking about. Oh, fish and chips, white supremacy, like gun laws being put in place to stop Black Americans from owning them. Yes, exactly. It's very dumb. No, he told me that it was a bunch of white supremacist slave owners who wrote the Constitution to protect slavery. I was like, really? You don't know history, son. It was really funny. It's what's actually really funny. He's one of my clients. He's one of my bookkeeping clients, and he came up to me very angry. He was very angry at me. And it's interesting that, there's a lot of people who think like he does because they hear the headlines or they read something like the 1619 Project or whatever, and they believe that it's true. Instead of going to the source, to the people who wrote the Declaration of Independence, looking at the original drafts of the Declaration, which included a scathing rebuke of the crown and of slavery. But I'm sure that man doesn't know that because people they don't take the time to educate themselves. And I found it especially in white educated liberals are the worst, to be honest with you, because they've been taught this idea and they sort of take it for granted and they just go along with it. And they're the most fervent believers, like, oh my God. And I said to this man something to the effect of, well, my husband is Black, right? And he was like, oh, how dare you use your husband as an excuse? And I'm like, you can't possibly think that you care more about Black people than I do. Like that should give you pause. For all the people who think, oh, well, how dare you say that you have all your aunts and uncles and cousins are Mexican? How dare you say that? Because it's true. And it should give you pause, okay? I guess maybe I could still be racist and have a multiracial family. I guess you can be Christian and still be a racist, obviously, because they exist, right? But that's not like normal, okay? And it should give you pause that if I'm married to a Black man and we're Christians, which means that we're in a traditional family unit where he is the head of the household and I have given my life to him as my husband, but somehow I'm better than him. I don't, and that stuff makes, those people don't realize how racist they are. It's very upsetting. Okay. They don't know. Rick says they don't know their history because some teachers are not teaching it. You're right. They're indoctrinating our kids and with CRT. It is so true. It is really, really upsetting and disappointing. And people don't want to admit that it's true. Okay. Just because it's not critical race theory specifically doesn't mean it's not the trappings of critical race theory. You guys, we need to come up with a new term. I don't know what it is to because once we say CRT, people stop listening. They're like, oh, you're one of those crazy conspiracy people. So what do we do? What if we just call them racists? Instead of saying that they're teaching CRT, what if we just say they're teaching racism or white hatred? Something like that. Let's think of a new term to start using that's really offensive. The okay G word, which I think you're not allowed to say anymore. It's you get banned for. The okay G word, that was a really good one. We need to come up with something like that for CRT. Rick, I'm charging you with that task. Josh says the other side tends to have the same arguments for decades now. It never matters if it makes sense. Oh my God, it's so true. You guys, it's like, when this is one of the things that makes me crazy. Look, you can be pro-choice. I have plenty of folks that watch my channel who are pro-choice, and I understand. I get it, and we're not debating whether or not people should be able to have abortions right now. But what we are debating is their stupid argument that it's just a clump of cells. They still are saying that it's just a clump of cells. Okay, so two things. Number one, ultrasounds exist. Okay. Technology has been vastly improved. And after about 4 weeks, it's very clearly a human being. Okay. It's very clearly a little tiny person with a head and a face and hands and shit. So you can't keep calling it a clump. Oh, I just cussed. You can't keep calling it a clump of cells. Sorry, YouTube. If you're watching with your children, I apologize. It's not just a clump of cells, okay? We can tell because science. Also, I am 44 years old. I am a grown human being. I technically am also just a clump of cells. It's a stupid argument. Stop using stupid arguments. Just say you don't think unborn life deserves the same protection under the Constitution as born life. Just say it. Don't use euphemisms. Don't try to be cute about it. Just say it. And then we can actually have a conversation about whether or not we agree. Because as long as we're talking in euphemisms and not willing to just say what things are, we get nowhere. It's absolutely stupid. You were absolutely correct, Josh. They use stupid arguments. Was it as powerful as the significance of the passage of time? Benjamin, what are you asking me? I'm sorry if I missed this question. I don't remember what I was talking about when you asked it. Was it as powerful as the significance of the passage of time? Are you talking about Convention of States, or just that I got more conservative over time? Hi, Mark. My husband, Benjamin, says, if anything happens to us, blame it on the feds. That's right, son. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Mr. Island capsizing. Who was that? Okay, you guys, we have to look it up. Who was the guy? It was a dude from, I'm pretty sure he's from the South. Can't spell capsize. Hank Johnson, Georgia Democrat. It's so dumb, you guys. Guam. It was Guam. Congressman who once feared Guam could capsize. So I think there was something I read about. He tried clarifying. Oh, well, it's because it doesn't have as much land mass underneath or something like that. Oh, he does. Let me see. What does he say? He says he was obviously joking. If you watch the video, dude was not joking. Dude was totally serious. Hank Johnson, Georgia. Oh, we got to give Byron crap, honey. We got to give Byron crap. It's it's one of his Congress people. I don't know if it's his area, but it's Georgia nonetheless. It's called racialism. Is that a real word, Olga? Is that what they call it when the CRT stuff, racialism? I've never heard that word before. White hate works. You're right, Randy. That would be a good one too. It's not CRT. It's white hate. It's racism, etc. Marriage is an equal union, Mark. That is correct. That's one of the things that's so interesting about some people when they, like, especially if you're not Mark, the reason you're not getting the chat, so I'm live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch right now. And so I see all of the chat in my software, but you guys are only going to see on whatever platform you're on. So Mark, I tend to get a lot more traffic on Facebook. But both are good. Let's see. I wish I was called Godfrey Reddick II. Let's see. All right. Yes, equal marriage, absolutely. It's really interesting. Um, in a Christian marriage, if you read the Bible, it gets misinterpreted a lot by people who are not of the faith, who don't really study it. It's misinterpreted, and some people who are of the faith misinterpret it. So the scripture says, uh, women are to submit to their husbands. Okay, and I don't remember the exact wording, but it says women are to submit to their husbands, and the next sentence is, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church. And Christ loved the church so much that he gave his life for the church. So that's the whole piece, right? So we are supposed to be helpmates as husband and wife. We're supposed to work together. We're supposed to cooperate. And while he is the head of household and will make some of the, maybe direct some of the bigger decisions and kind of be the big picture, he's like the CEO of the family. Okay. So Benjamin is like the CEO. He's the one in charge. He's got the big picture vision. He's kind of going, okay, this is where we're going to be in like 5 or 10 years. Here's how here's some things we need to do to get there. And I'm like the COO, the chief operations officer. So it's like, okay, I gotta figure out what are the details that we need to move around to get there. Because he's the big picture person. I'm the details person. Hence why he is the entrepreneur, producer person, and I'm the accountant producer, right? So we just play different roles, but we need each other, and we need both of those things to have the amazing marriage that we have. So that's my pitch for biblical marriage. Oh, thank you, Mark. I don't know how you found us either, but welcome. We're here every Sunday at 7:00. Normally it's a live show. Occasionally it's pre-recorded, but you're welcome anytime. Share it around. Yes, Olga says the man is the head, but the woman is the spine, and we hold it up. Some people say the man is the head, the woman is the neck. That's the thing. We work together. For you and your husband, for me and my husband, it's the other way around. I'm the big picture. He's the detail. Yeah, exactly. See, this is the thing. You just got to work together. I mean, that's what we got to do. We're a team. Also, I love my husband. I have the best husband. Josh says weird. My wife says the butthead. My 3 kids agree. You guys are so silly. Dale's got a question. What are the possibilities of securing government funds through your potential office if elected to help school districts with Vermont as well as Burlington to build new schools to replace those contaminated? Great question, Dale. And I'll actually and I'll close on this one. Benjamin says I only love him because he trolls and memes. And you're super handsome and have a perfectly symmetrical face, which I'm saying to embarrass you because he hates it when I say that stuff in public. Dale has a good question. How will I get secure funds? Dale, I get asked these kinds of questions all the time. And my answer is that Vermont has to figure out how to get money to pay for those things. Our economy, it has been tanked by government regulation. There's no reason Vermont should be as poor as it is. We have so many natural resources. We have productive land. We used to have a nuclear power plant that could have powered the entire state with no carbon emissions. Vermont just continues to make really poor decisions. And I do not believe it is the responsibility of states like Texas and Florida that have kept their economies open, that have not restricted their citizens. I don't believe it's their responsibility to pay our bills. And I don't think it's okay to print money to also pay our bills. So we really here in Vermont need to take control of the purse strings of our state house. We need to get these Democrats and progressives out of office so that they cannot continue to push forward this climate agenda, spend millions and billions of dollars on failed policies that just make us poor and less safe. So that's not the answer that anybody wants to hear. I know Becca Ballant says she's going to go get federal money to pay for things, but what that means is she's going to go borrow money or have it printed to pay for things because Vermonters make bad decisions. It's not the federal government's job. It's my 2 cents. Again, sorry, harsh answer. Jen you can call me Jen Some people say GI. I think that's cool. Like a GI in the military. I think that's cool. The contaminated schools go back to construction companies. You know what? You're right. So that a lot of the construction and these schools could be remediated. I just want to be really clear. These schools, like Burlington High School, could absolutely be remediated for a fraction of the cost of a new school. But because we have a bunch of rich elitists running our school board, they want, we're going to have the most advanced. It's going to be the coolest. It's going to be the best. So basically, it's going to cost the same amount to tear down the old high school as it would to clean it up. And instead, we're going to pay 10 times as much for a new high school because it's going to be shiny and pretty and it'll be good for our rich little kids to go to. I mean, it's outrageous. It is absolutely outrageous, and it is shameful. And the fact that, seriously, you guys, there was only one school board race contested this year for town meeting day in Burlington, and it was me, because I couldn't believe that no one else was willing to run for school board or participate in how bullcrap our school board is. I started going to the school board meetings. Nobody shows up to them. And then we wonder why they've got gender unicorns in the elementary schools. Nobody shows up, and a bunch of rich elitists are on our school board, making us more broke because Vermonters do not participate in their own self-governance. Vermonters do not participate in their own self-governance. And then people wonder why things go to crap here. It's not a mystery. That is wow, that's a real downer to end the show on. Let's see. That's what I'm talking about, retrofitting. Exactly. Okay, you guys. Deanna, I can't tell if you're cracking a joke or you're being serious. Men and women are intrinsically set in roles. We women are their helpmates, i.e., we keep them from killing themselves. That is really funny. I swear to God, really, if Benjamin is still watching, he eats like crap when he's in Texas for work. When he's in Texas for work, he does not, I see how he eats. He does not go to the grocery store. I'm like, we need to help take care of our boys, our men. Anyway, okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for the night. I've got some emails and things to send out for the campaign tonight. So I'm going to get that done and go to bed. Get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and start it all over again. So let's see. Go to ReddickForCongress.com. Excuse me. ReddickForCongress.com. REDIC for Congress.com. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate the good luck. You can go to Reddick for Congress, donate to the campaign. You can share social media, share it with all your friends. Spread the word that there is a reasonable, rational, logical person running for Congress in Vermont. The only one. Erica Reddick, Libertarian Party candidate for Congress. Holler at your girl. Oh, yes, Josh. Tomorrow, I am going to be on the Barry Beat podcast at 8 o'clock. So I'm heading down to Barry to hang out with my Barry people. Love you guys. It is, Jerry, $17,000 per child in your town. It is crazy. We spend the second most per pupil in the country behind New York. And we're not even in the top. We don't even rate our schools. What are we spending our money on? Look, I would happily pay $17,000 per pupil if we were actually graduating our kids at reading level, but we're not. What are we getting for it? It's absolutely outrageous. Okay. Yes. Going to have tons of fun tomorrow night in Barry. So let's see. Josh just put the link in the chat on Facebook. Barry Beat Podcast. Going to hang out with the boys tomorrow and go to Reddick for Congress. Connect page. Sign up for the newsletter. Send us a contact form. Let us know how you want to help. Okay. Oh, you know what? We're going to close with a commercial for my book, Reasons to Trust the Government. How about that? Yes, it is sad in class. Oh my God, don't even get me started. You would not believe the stuff I hear from parents and teachers, what they went through with the lockdowns and everything. I mean, it's just, it's outrageous, but not quite as outrageous as our book commercial. All right, good night, everybody.
This book will give you wings!
What kind of wings?
Not like Icarus wings, like eagle's wings!
What about dragons?
You'll have dragon's blood! You'll be able to breathe fire!
Fire like the Ultra Eagle Dragogun!
This book will make you smarter!
Yes!
I'm not just talking honor roll smart, I'm talking Nikola Tesla smart! You'll be so good looking, Brad Pitt will be jealous!
Do you want to make money?
How much money?
Elon Musk money.
That's a lot of money!
People will think you're Elon Musk, but you're not Elon Musk, but they'll think you're
Elon Musk, because you pay taxes like Elon Musk!
And you have to argue with Elizabeth Warren because she thinks you're Elon Musk. Do you want freedom?
How much freedom?
All the freedom. One to America. How much freedom do you want?
America!
Double America! Yeah!